Welcome back, learners. We have completed two chapters in chemistry and now we are starting chapter 3, which is atoms and molecule. So let us explore more. First of all, we will study about laws of chemical combination. Listen them carefully, try to understand them, and at the end of video you will be asked various questions related to this topic so that you can evaluate yourself. Now, before starting this topic, let us understand the background. Look, man has always been curious to know how such a large number of different substances could be formed in nature. Scientists had been working toward an answer to this question since 13th century. From the result obtained, it became clear that compound formation is governed by some relationship, and this led to development of various laws, and we are studying them. Look, students, the laws of chemical combination are experimental laws. They have been formulated by scientists after performing large number of experiments involving various chemical reactions. So now understand what are these laws. First is law of conservation of mass. This law was given by Anton Laurent Lavoisier. You can see the picture. According to this law, matter is neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Let me simplify. This law means that in a chemical reaction, the total mass of reactant and product is always same. There is no change in mass during a chemical reaction. You all are aware of chemical change, which we have studied in the previous chapter. During a chemical change, the process which is undergoing there is known as a chemical reaction. Now I am giving you one example. Here you can see that when we heat calcium carbonate, on heating it we get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So heating of calcium carbonate was a chemical change, and when this change has been written here in the form of word, it will be called word equation. If I write the chemical symbol and formula, which we will study later in this chapter, okay, calcium carbonate is CaCO3, your calcium oxide is CaO, and carbon dioxide is CO2. Okay, so don't worry, in this chapter you will be able to form these chemical formulas later on. For now, when calcium carbonate is heated, it forms your calcium oxide and carbon dioxide as stated earlier. Here calcium carbonate, which has been written on left hand side, is known as reactant, which is undergoing the change. This arrow directs the direction of change. Okay, this arrow is helping us to know where is the change going. Okay, now the outcome of this chemical change was formation of calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, which has been written on your right hand side. These are called reactant. In this manner, the thing which are taking participation in a chemical change are reactant. What form in a chemical reaction are product. Now let us understand how this change is governed, how this change is following your law of conservation of mass. So wait for a while, I'm just clearing the screen. Now you can see 100 gram of calcium carbonate when heated forms 56 gram of calcium oxide and 44 gram of carbon dioxide. So adding 56 to 44 give you 100. It means the mass of reactant is equal to the mass of product, and this was your law of conservation of mass. In this manner, this reaction is following this law. Okay, now you must have understood it. Here a problem for you. This is an in-text problem from your book, so understand it carefully and later you will do in your notebook. Here in a chemical reaction, 5.3 gram of sodium carbonate react with 6 gram of acetic acid. The product were 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide, 0.9 gram water and 8.2 gram sodium acetate. You have to show how this change is in agreement with law of conservation of mass. Now students, if this law is following here, if your given reaction is in agreement with the law of conservation of mass, then the prime condition, which is mass of reactant, should be equal to mass of product. So for that, you have to just add the mass of reactant. Your reactant is sodium carbonate, okay? So its mass is 5.3, okay? Okay, so we have to write it somewhere else. Your sodium carbonate having mass 5.3. Next thing, the second is acetic acid, which is having mass 6 gram. Look students, 5.3 added to 6 will give you 11.3, okay? Secondly, the product which are formed here are carbon dioxide, water and sodium acetate. If you will add their masses, then you will again get 11.3 gram. So by writing this, first of all, you can calculate the mass of reactants, then the mass of product, and you will get both of them same and they will be equal to 11.3. Then you can tell that this particular chemical reaction is in agreement with your law of conservation of mass. So you must be clear now. Let's move to the next law. The next law is law of constant proportion. This law was formulated by Joseph Proust. According to this law, a chemical compound always consists of same element which combine together in same proportion by mass. So a bit difficult for you, but I'm explaining how does you have to understand it. Okay, for example, water is a compound which always consists of two elements. First one is hydrogen, second one is oxygen. Okay, let me write the formula of your water. It is H2O. Now here you can see that two hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom are together. Mass of hydrogen is 1. So two hydrogen atom will have mass 2. Okay, the unit for atomic mass is unified mass, which is written as U. Now we are just considering the ratio, that's why I haven't written that. Secondly, oxygen. Oxygen is having atomic mass 16U. So this is the mass of oxygen. Now if I take the ratio, okay students, the ratio of 2 and 16 going to be 1:8. Now according to this law, whatever be the source of water, either you are getting that water from some lake, from rain, okay, from river, underground water, or you have reacted hydrogen gas and oxygen gas in laboratory and then the water has formed, no matter, still your water is biochemical formula H2O and the ratio of your hydrogen and oxygen by mass is 1:8. So this was the law. Similarly, if I tell you one example other than this water, so let us take example of ammonia. The formula of ammonia is NH3, okay? Nitrogen is having mass 14 and hydrogen, as I told you, has mass 1. Here 3 atoms of hydrogen are participating, so the mass will become 3. Now you can clearly see that 14 gram nitrogen combines with 3 gram hydrogen in order to form your ammonia NH3. So what will be the ratio? Definitely it will be 14:3. So in this manner you have to understand this law. Okay. Now one more thing. If ammonia has been formed naturally by decomposition of some garbage, or you have formed this ammonia in laboratory, no matter what is the origin, what is the source, still the formula of an ammonia will be NH3 and the ratio will be, as I told you, 14:3 by mass. So now a problem which we will discuss is hydrogen and oxygen combine in a ratio of 1:8 by mass to form water. What mass of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 gram of hydrogen gas? So it's a simple ratio proportion type question. Here you can see that hydrogen which combines with oxygen in 1:8. It simply means hydrogen and oxygen. For 1 gram of hydrogen you need 8 gram of oxygen. Okay, so this time you are having 3 gram hydrogen. How much oxygen you are required now? Obviously, if hydrogen has become 3 times, then your oxygen going to become 3 times. You will need 24 gram of oxygen. Just a unitary method type question. Okay students, now we have ended this topic and I will ask you few questions related to this so that you can evaluate yourself. First of all, if you are able to understand or you are able to define that what are law of conservation of mass and what are law of constant proportion, then that's a good deal. Okay, you are able to understand the entire topic, and now the purpose the purpose of this video is achieved. Okay, that's all for today students. Keep learning and keep asking your queries. Soon we will meet with some other topics and we will learn them.